Imagine it. Not one, not 10, but every single active volcano on Earth, all 1,500 of them, erupting in a sudden, synchronized paroxysm of power. The ground would shake with an unprecedented fury, a deafening global roar reverberating across continents. Instantly, colossal columns of ash, gas, and rock would tear into the atmosphere, spewing superheated debris miles into the sky. This wouldn't be a localized disaster, it would be a planetary transformation, marking the very first moments of a cataclysmic chain reaction that would redefine life as we know it. Within hours, the ash plumes, propelled by powerful stratospheric winds, would begin their relentless march, coalescing into a colossal, opaque blanket. Sunlight, once a given, would be severely diminished, plunging vast regions into an eerie twilight, even complete darkness. The sheer volume of ejected material would be staggering, potentially thousands of cubic kilometers of fine particulate matter, forming an atmospheric veil that would choke landscapes, coat cities, and infiltrate every breath. This initial, suffocating shroud is merely the precursor to a far more insidious and prolonged threat. The immediate consequences for aviation would be catastrophic. Volcanic ash, comprising sharp, abrasive glass and rock particles, is a death sentence for jet engines. It melts in the engine's combustion chambers, fusing into a glassy coating that causes immediate power loss and engine failure. With thousands of cubic kilometers of ash filling the skies, air travel would cease globally, instantly. Airports would become eerie monuments to a bygone era of connectivity, their runways littered with grounded aircraft, their control towers silent. The complex web of global logistics, entirely dependent on air freight for rapid delivery of essential goods, would snap. But the ash itself is only part of the story. High in the stratosphere, sulfur dioxide gases released during the eruptions would react with water vapor to form tiny sulfate aerosols. These microscopic particles are incredibly efficient at reflecting incoming solar radiation back into space. As these aerosols accumulate and disperse worldwide, they would act as a global sunshade. The vibrant blue of our sky would fade to a muted gray, and average global temperatures would begin a precipitous and irreversible decline, initiating what scientists term a volcanic winter. This isn't just a slight dip in temperature, it's a profound, sustained cooling event. Models suggest global average temperatures could plummet by as much as 5 to 10 degrees Celsius, persisting for years, possibly even a decade. The summer growing seasons in temperate zones would vanish, replaced by perpetual frost. Arctic conditions would extend into what were once fertile breadbaskets. This widespread and relentless cold, combined with significantly reduced sunlight, creates an existential threat to one of humanity's most fundamental pillars, our food supply. Agriculture, the very foundation of human civilization, would collapse. Most staple crops, wheat, corn, rice, are exquisitely sensitive to temperature and light. They would simply fail to grow in the widespread cold and perpetual gloom. Even if seeds could germinate, the ash-laden soil would be toxic, and the lack of sunlight would prevent photosynthesis. Livestock would perish from lack of feed and extreme cold. The intricate global supply chains, already severed by the aviation shutdown, could not compensate for such universal failure. Fields that once fed billions would lie barren, a stark testament to nature's raw power. With widespread crop failure and livestock collapse, humanity would face an unprecedented global famine. Existing food reserves, usually sufficient for a few months, would quickly dwindle, with no prospect of replenishment. Access to fresh water would also be compromised, contaminated by ash. Competition for dwindling resources would escalate, shattering societal structures and potentially leading to widespread conflict. The focus would shift from progress to mere survival, a desperate struggle against starvation and the unrelenting cold. The very fabric of civilization would be stretched to its breaking point. In this chilling new world, humanity's resilience would be tested to its absolute limit. Those who survived the immediate cataclysm and the ensuing famine would face a vastly altered planet. Coastal areas might be inundated by melting ice caps after the initial cooling, and ecosystems would undergo radical shifts. Rebuilding would be an unimaginable task, likely carried out by small, isolated communities, disconnected from the global network that once defined us. The memory of a sun-drenched, abundant Earth would become a haunting echo, a story whispered by the few who remember.